My art style. What's the deal with my art style? And just for this one, I want you to comment what you think the deal with it is. And then we can all share and exchange our ideas over dinner. I don't mean to jump to conclusions, but assuming you have access to the internet, a browser is what you see as soon as you open up your PC, apart from your home screen. So getting it to your vibe is a pretty important deal. So I'm gonna actually use my art style to make a wallpaper for myself. And a wallpaper you can also get yourself with Opera GX's fully customizable browser. I got hired by them, and that is pretty metal. Gear solid. Custom sound effects. Custom wallpaper, custom app icon, cursor, font, whatever these toggles do. Custom sound effects. Again, basically with GX mods and all of these toggles, you get to customize your browser all for yourself to your liking. Oh, that's scary, actually. And now I get to customize this wallpaper to my liking, because I asked them what I should draw and they literally said anything I wanted. And that was a lot of pressure, but also pretty metal. You're solid. Overall, I think I'm very comfortable and happy with the art style that I have now. It gives me a lot of wiggle room to kind of experiment with things. So after fidgeting with the lighting and other filters for a bit, we were finally done. This is the maximum that I can push my art style right now, probably. And that's a browser theme that you can also get for free. You can use this theme and start browsing today with Opera GX using the first link in description. The next art style I'm basing my character off from is from the game Sky Children of the Light, which, oh my god, it's from a 3D video game. They're all 3D models. Why did I choose this for the first one? I don't know a lick of Blender. I don't know a lick of 3D modeling, so we're just going to try and render and recreate this. So I tried with the best of my ability to create that 3D rendery look in a 2D art program. Sky has a very soft and vibrant art style, especially for the characters, and it really goes in on everything looking as atmospheric and nature-y as possible. But what's really cool is that some spaces on their models, you can obviously tell they're very sharp and pointy, and I think it's to simplify the model, but there's some sort of charm to that I really like. I actually drew this twice because my first attempt looked more like fan art than it did an art style. But honestly, I think it was for the better I tried again because I didn't really want to put out something that I wasn't too proud of myself. The main story of this game has a playtime of around, I want to say, maybe 4 to 6 hours. So with these spirits that you meet on the way, each of them has its own individual story, and then they will give you an emote based off of that story, and you just communicate with those emotes that you collect. It's about the journey that you make of it, not the destination. Throughout each art style, I'm gonna give myself the creative liberty to stylize or adjust my character to the world that it's in, just so that I can exemplify the style just maybe a little bit more. As long as you can tell that it is Orb, it is the character, then I think that's fair game. For the hoodie, I added these star laces that matched with the cape that I also gave him. I don't know if this is the correct name for them, but these cargo pants. I really like these big baggy pants. I don't really know what to call them, but they're really cool. And then, I don't know if Sky has an accessory like this, but I gave a bunch of these glowy glitter specks everywhere. You can also get hat accessories in this game, one of which being little creatures, so why not add a little guy on there? The pose is specifically an emote in the game where you call out for a butterfly. It's one of the first ones you unlock, actually, and I think it's rather iconic. This was so different from what I usually draw. Doing Lilas art is pretty fun. I liked it. The next art style I have up is actually a very recent one. I haven't finished this anime yet, but oh my god, I am in love with Hunter x Hunter, however you want to pronounce it. Its art style to me, it's pretty much just the picture frame shonen anime art style. However, I chose this for a reason. They somehow put this, and also for some reason this in the same anime, and for some reason it works together so perfectly. The art style wasn't too challenging. I would give it a level 3. I guess I'm gonna rank all of these now. I'm gonna give it a level 3 on the difficulty chart. Since anime, well, needs to be animated, they typically simplify their art style to whatever's easy to animate. It's got some pretty muted colors alongside some simple cell shading. The proportions are still pretty humanistic when it comes to the characters, so you gotta have your fundamentals there. But I'd say the rest wasn't all that bad. Also, one thing I tend to notice about this show is that the shoes, like, what is he wearing? So I righteously added on some silly looking boots. Look, it's got triangles on it. So sorry for only starting this series in 2025, but I guess I'm here now. I'm sure this next one is gonna ring a bell for a lot of people. Vivinos? VVNOS? VVNO $. I think it was at this point where I realized that a lot of art styles are iconic because of how they draw their expressions and faces, And that was gonna be a challenge because I can't really do that. And it makes sense that faces are so stylized because that's where you look at whenever you look at a character or just at someone. So I need to study other aspects of the art style and maybe come up with something that would realistically fit into it. It was a challenge, but I like challenges. I thought it'd be fun to instead make it so that it was apparent that there's a human with a helmet that looks like orb on it. Also because I just really love their human art. A lot of it is like very sketchy and they have this charmingly messy line weight that I just wanted to do. When it comes to drawing baggy things, they like to use these big, bold, sketchy lines, and occasionally with their line art, I noticed they'll put these pink and cyan highlights every now and then, and I thought that was perfect for this character. They're also most famous for creating Alien Stage, but they also have a lot of other smaller stories with commonly a music video to go with each of them. Hey guys, it came out. Oh, I'm in pain. And they're all just so worth checking out. It's so creative and, just as a warning, rather dark. They have their own warnings in their videos, but I'm saying it here too. I just really like their art style. In hindsight, I should have used one of their more rendered pieces as a reference, but I have this and I'm happy with it. Give it a 3 out of 10 on the challenge scale. To say that this next game inspired me would be an understatement. Minecraft has not only inspired me and probably had been one of my main sources of inspiration to just draw from day one, because I draw characters from this game when I was like 6 years old. This guy who makes Minecraft-based music videos, Rainimator, was like top-tier inspiration material to young me. But so many of my friends who I still talk to now, we probably wouldn't have connected so much if it wasn't for this game. So that's why it's here. I don't know why I keep on making 3D game models. For certain parts where I would need to add more detail, I was smart enough to actually make a grid, to which then I can just use this as a guide to fill in colors where I needed them to be, and that was actually a really good way of going about it. I'm proud of myself for that one. I tried also giving it the effect that, you know, like the layers have on Minecraft skins. I definitely overestimated this one when I was going into it because it ended up being a lot easier than I expected it to be. Giving this one a 2 out of 10 on the challenge difficulty, you do need a decent understanding of form and also proportions to get this right. I'm still obviously practicing, but because I've practiced in the past, it did help immensely with making this drawing. My lines were confident, I felt good. I didn't do anything too crazy for anywhere else, I just kind of followed the model. I don't know how to describe Minecraft's art style, it's Minecraft. Skins are essentially just pixel art within the base of your model, aka your Minecraft skin, aka your grid, aka your canvas. And people do very cool things with it. Except for that guy. Anyways, this is how it turned out. I really like the fact that I did it in a different pose than the idle one, because this made it way more interesting. This is the Minecraft one, we're 1/4 way of a cookie there. The style I had next going on with me was Studio Ghibli. Ghibli is probably one of the most recognizable styles that I did out of all of these. And it just does a phenomenal job at both making me feel incredibly alive and also immediately in the next 5 seconds I could be in agony. I love how broad they can make all of the creatures and stuff in it too. And usually humans, they get a very distinct face shape that makes the style very recognizable, but I don't get that, so we can make silly faces. Like, I specifically referenced these duck spirits from Spirited Away. They make me joy. Whoever decided to add these dead fish eyes onto them made the best choice ever. Thank you so much. And here is how it turned out. This one was rather simple. I only had to fidget with the colors a little bit, make it a little warmer. Overall, 2 out of 10. Hey, I'm Orb, and I was born with 3 eyes. And for my next lie, I hate JoJo's Bizarre Adventure! The art style of JoJo's, the anime, is specifically a weird one, because when the animators worked on JoJo's, in order to make each part distinct from each other, they went along and evolved the art style over time. They changed the art style to replicate the manga artist, Hirohiko Araki, that's his name by the way, his art style, changing and evolving in real time throughout the manga. That is so cool! So to be more specific, I am drawing the Part 5 art style of JoJo's. I've recreated screen caps for the fun of it, but now we're doing it again because I think I can self-indulge a little bit. If you do something once and it's fun, then why not do it again? I can't say if it's too obvious regarding my art, but JoJo's has impacted my creative journey for so long. And I love what they did for part 5. They honed in so much on pointy line art and leaned in a lot on using line art as shadow for certain parts, and everything just looks super sharp and dynamic. It was also one of the parts where they leaned down the characters, because honestly I wasn't about to draw super buff. They've done this for all of their anime art styles, but I love the hatching that they do on certain parts of the character. Oh, it's wonderful. I think, weirdly, I don't know how else to describe this, I think the art style fits in very well with their plot. They keep all the proportions realistic, but also just add in that essence of JoJo. I will say on the challenging aspect of this, I'd give this a solid 4 out of 5. You'd really need to rely on your past knowledge on proportions, form, anatomy. You're gonna hear me say that about any art style with humanistic proportions though, because it just kind of, it goes hand in hand. This is the final result. And I like this so much that I even made one of these character promotion graphics that they did for the release of part 5. I decided to do this one up next because they also do the thing where they block in massive shadows with line art. This art style is from the indie game Hades, which is probably one of my favorite roguelikes out there. I was deciding between this one and Risk of Rain because they're both roguelikes with really interesting stories. But honestly, I'm not in the mood to do another 3D model, so Hades it is. I mean, there was 2D in like with a cutscene in Risk of Rain Returns, but I'm not working with a lot there. They draw in shade metal so incredibly, and I was very nervous on that because I knew I wanted to include metal. It turned out pretty great actually, I'm happy with it. Another great touch they do is these little tiny specks of saturated color. They just work with color really well. This style is incredible. I'm so incredibly inspired by all of the sprite work because they do poses so well. It's also pretty apparent they do cell shading throughout all of the drawings, so no blending, no using the soft brushes to make shading. All of the characters and sprites are based off of Greek deities. I hollowed out the head and made it a fruit bowl because I really wanted a reason to draw grapes after seeing Dionysus' sprite. I really liked how the artist drew this and desperately wanted a reason to replicate it. Out of the 20 art styles that we've done, this is my favorite. Also, solid 5 out of 5 just because of shading metal. This was my childhood favorite comic book, apart from Amulet, but this one, we're focusing on this one right now. It's a story revolving around this guy and his awesome family of friends and his dot eyes and his cute button nose. And then I lost the only copy of the book I had because I was on a trip. The author Will Henry actually posts his art progress on YouTube, and that surprised me. That made me very happy. There's something so charming and sweet about this art style, and its incredible ability to make me feel happy and warm every time I read it. I just followed along the art process that he posted on YouTube, and this is the outcome. Honestly, not much else about this one. I just made him a little guy. Here, take this little guy for your journey as well. You know, part of me didn't want to include this, but it has had such an impact when I was like 11, 10. I don't think it's fair if we sugarcoat the inspirations that I have had in my life. Somehow, if you are out of the loop, Gacha Life is a series of games where you can dress up characters with a bunch of items and then you can put them in a studio to make little stories. You can make them talk with like text and all of that. And then people make full-blown music videos and movies, and then they'll rig the characters and make full-blown series. It inspired me a lot to create, and I just need to include this. And obviously, I'm not just gonna draw over the character, I'm gonna try and recreate the style myself. I distinctly remember this one series of Gacha Life music videos, yes, those are real, that they would make a music video with Copycat by Billie Eilish. There will be a mean person trying to get with the main character's boyfriend, and what they'll do is they'll dress up and copy the look of the main person, and for some reason the boyfriend won't realize, and they'll get with the mean person. Hello, editing me now. I found one, not that one. I found this one. It's so metal. There's like a million of them on YouTube, and to me back then, it was peak fiction. 2 out of 5, by the way. The next art style I'll be drawing is from the indie game franchise known as Monster Prom. I'm gonna be basing my art off of the third game, Monster Road Trip, because that one is my favorite one. Every game follows the same gist of a choose-your-own-adventure visual novel story, and don't expect to take anything in the game too seriously because it is incredibly comedy-centered. Dating simulators aren't usually my thing, and the third game focuses a lot less on it, so I win. All of the art in these games are so charming and fun. They use a lot of angular lines and vibrant colors. Shape language is so abundant in their art style and is so impressive. After coloring, they'll go in first with the very warm cell shading before highlighting certain parts with the original color in the shading. I'm so glad I drew the Hades art style earlier before this, because otherwise this would have been such a challenge. Like Hades as well, they also put in tiny bright specks of color across the whole character, and it really just makes the art pop a little bit more. The entire coloring and shading process was actually very bumpy for me, so I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 on the challenge rating. Beyond all the silliness of this game, the art inspires me so much, and also it teaches some pretty good lessons about embracing who you are. The next art style is actually by an artist known as Riri Pikmin. Riri mainly makes OC-focused art, and they have this very unique type of soft shading. It's all very painterly and vibrant, and they add in a lot of cute, sharp highlights to everything. The way I shaded mine was just by using a soft circle brush and turned it to lower opacity. Their shading tends to use colors lower in contrast as well, so I did just that. You can see the shading used for the hoodie is a little bit grayer. I somehow needed to include the eye staring into your soul, so I did that. I already draw in a painterly rendered style a lot of the time, so this wasn't too much of a challenge for me. I actually really enjoyed it. So challenge level is like a 2 out of 5. I really like the way they doodle small chibi characters, so I did one of those too. Before I even say anything else, solid 5 out of 5 on this art style. This took me for a ride. This is the first one that I had to go out of my way and heavily study from other artists who do time lapses of the character process. The art style from Valorant uses incredibly painterly aesthetics while maintaining the graphic look at the same time. What really helped me work on this drawing was making sure that I was working on the entire piece and not just over-rendering one specific area. All of their lines are super crisp and angular, and they, especially with characters who have cool powers, they tend to add special effects everywhere along with the character. The proportions, the clothes, and kind of the everything all lean into realism. You gotta make it vibrant but not too vibrant. It was all an experience. You can actually find the art process of a lot of the Valorant characters by just looking it up, and those helped me a lot, like I said. In all of the splash art, you'll see that there's always light hitting the character from one specific angle just to make it all that poppy. Honestly, all of Riot Games' media inspires me. It's just that Valorant was the only game I really played for a long time. I played as Chamber and then they nerfed the heck out of him, and I was like, okay, whatever, I'm just gonna keep playing. And then they nerfed him again, so I stopped playing. Riot's creative team in general will just always inspire me. I really like doing all of the sharp lines. All of the challenges and struggles aside, this was one of my favorite art styles that I did for this challenge. I went ahead then to clean up the drawing and also block in some shadows. This is how it turned out. I would love to revisit this art style in the future. The next inspiration is one right here, right on YouTube, and she goes by the name of Sadie Ye. This was more of her art style just always seemed fun, and I wanted to try drawing it, and this is the perfect reason for me to. I think I'm noticing a pattern with me in sharp, angular art. She makes a bunch of boppy animations, and they're just fun. They're great. I love them. I animate occasionally, but I do frame by frame as opposed to tweening. But they make me want to learn tweening. Next up is Good Kid. For those who don't know, Good Kid is one of my favorite bands of all time. I have no experience in recreating or making music, so I'm gonna just draw their album cover art styles instead. They mostly do indie rock music, and all of their songs sound like they came straight out of a garage band in the summer. I love that kind of stuff. It gets me feeling motivated and nice and warm on the inside. They've got super detailed and intricate line art. It almost makes it look folklore-y. It's very traditional. All of the awesome art is made by the amazing Gabriel Altros. I don't know if I butchered that last name or not. And put his art and the songs together, and you get a bundle of motivation that inspires me whenever I draw. I've listened to the same album on loop for like 5 hours while working on a piece. That is not an exaggeration. I want to say it also blends in some sort of surrealism with all of this glowy goop going on, which makes it look like it's spreading all over the place, everywhere, all at once. Their mascot's name is Nomu, and I obviously had to draw the iconic big old smile that they put on all of the pieces. It gave me a challenge when drawing the fabric on all this detailed line art, but overall it was pretty easy. It was very enjoyable. I'll give it a 2 out of 5 on the challenge meter. When looking at some of the art, I realized that they tend to include instruments for some of the characters, and I decided to give myself a ukulele because I actually play that in real life. I was 50-50 on also adding a guitar, but I'm not as proficient in it as I am with the ukulele, and also just because the ukulele is smaller, it's easier to draw. It felt like a crime to not include this one. Ginger Ninja OWO was like one of my top inspirations when I was younger, and they've continued to be. I've been watching this person for like a decade, which, recording this a voiceover now, that's a weird sentence to say. One of my earliest memories from when I was 6 to 7 years old was when I was at a sleepover at my friend's house, and we were all on this air mattress, and we booted up the TV, and my friend decided to watch the first episode of their Nuzray series comic dub, and I, immediately afterwards, binged their videos. And also, when I say their art style, I mean their art style from like 2022 and onwards. Their art now is super expressive, especially when it comes to the poses. It's like one fine swoop of a line of action throughout the entire body. And seeing someone be able to be so confident in their lines and poses was so incredibly inspiring to me. It was actually one of the things that coerced me into doing more full body poses because you can just do so much with it. For a hot while, I was in a little comfortable bubble drawing characters from the chest up, and like, that was fine. But I'm really glad that I'm able to do so much more this now, and also, broadly speaking, so much more in general. This is an incredible opportunity. They're one of the many creators that have inspired me to this day, and I've taken away so much good messages from their videos onto my own. One of which being just have fun with your stuff, guys. Go make stuff. Go make stuff that makes you happy. Had a bit of trouble deciding on the pose at the start, but ended up sticking with this one. Honestly, everything went pretty smoothly. This was it's like a 2 out of 5. I stuck with this dark pink for the line art because that's one that I see that they often use. And look, there they are. Speaking of doing stuff that makes you happy, I'm doing another JoJo's art style because that makes me happy. I love all the intermission art that Araki does in between their chapters. And also because part 7 was confirmed for this year, I am through the roof. I need this. Oh wow, and I also need water. A lot of the poses that Araki does are always based off of fashion models, actually. I just found mine by searching up fashion pose on Pinterest. You can actually probably find the exact one that I used. And I always thought that was such a super cool touch from the artist that I just had to do it myself. Replicating this art style though, it was a solid 5 out of 5 again. There are a lot of shadows to block in with the line art. Since it's a manga, you obviously lean in a lot towards the inking part. So you're obviously going to place all your skill points there and then not leave much when you color. I honestly think coloring this was a lot more difficult than the line art because of just like how distinct the style of coloring it must be. You don't really get a chance to stylize and play around with it all that much, so yeah, it's really restricting there. But I think the line art and everything there makes up for it. I had a lot of fun with this line art. Apart from my own, this was one of the styles that took the longest to draw as well. It took a total of 1 hour and 29 minutes, almost 30. Just like the last one, Araki's art style evolved over the time of him developing JoJo's. So in order to be more specific, I am referencing off of the style that he had when drawing Part 7. Because like I just said, Part 7's anime got announced, and it is also my favorite part right below Part 5. While I was looking for references, I found this drawing of Miku in the JoJo's art style. The artwork was drawn by this user on Reddit, and oh my god, they made the entire Hunter x Hunter cast into Mori. I think this will also be one of my favorite drawings that I've done for this challenge. I don't think I need to say why. It speaks for itself. I have spent a good portion of my childhood playing Animal Jam and spending hours upon hours in their drawing game. It has a very graphic and vibrant style. All of its lines are sharp and angular, very defined. They only draw animals and not people, so this is the best of my ability. I feel like this is one of the less recognizable art styles, but I tried. There was an attempt that was made. You know, I really wish I could go back onto the game and find my old artwork, but when I tried to get my original account back a few years ago, I just learned that Animal Jam just deletes your account if you're inactive for like a year, so I can't do that anymore. It's a bit of a shame because so much of my art was saved on there, but there's not much I can do about it, so oh well. Coming up at number 19, this one's also rather a new one. It is Death Note. And once again, I'm going to be specifically drawing all the cover art and promotional art that they've done because they are so good. Death Note is a very interesting one. They have a very gothic feel to all of their artworks. It's another manga, so we gotta be really intricate and detailed on the inking. I feel like you're able to do a lot more with the coloring on this part, because everything was first made traditionally and then scanned onto digital. All of the colors come out super muted and very low contrast. It really enhances the overall mood and just aesthetic in general of Death Note. I think that's amazing. The way they draw fabric is just, it's so good as well. There's all of these unique individual types of folds everywhere, and it's so intricate, and it's just so admirable and respectable. The artist behind Death Note uses a lot of alcohol markers, so there's going to be a lot more blending behind the shading. And as stated previously, because of how intricate all its line art is, you can do so much with the blending. I went to town on this one. There was so much blending going on everywhere. Honestly, we're pretty late into this art style challenge, and because of all of the previous art styles, especially from the Valorant one, I've grown a lot more comfortable and confident of doing fabric folds again. Really glad I saved this one for last because I don't think I would have been able to do that at the start. Also, if anyone has ever paid attention to how Takeshi Obata shades shoes, oh, they're so impressive. And this is it for number 19. I had to go ahead and make everything a little bit more vibrant at the end. I overestimated how muted the colors were supposed to be. It was quite challenging. I'd give it a 4 out of 5. And we're ending it off with a rather chill one. This is by an artist named Yunayu. Hello everyone, my name is Orb, and today I will be drawing in the Yunayu art style. She's an artist that I found over on YouTube that I've been watching for I think around a year now. All of her videos are super wholesome and well made, and I actually got inspired by her video to draw people on VR chat. She has a very soft art style with soft colors and simple line art. I think I can describe her artwork perfectly by cute. But what really captures me and what inspires me a lot is how silly and random it can be. She also serves as a nice reminder for me to have fun with art. After doing all of the super detailed and intricate, time-consuming artwork at the start, it was really just nice to unwind afterwards. So this is Yuna Orb, and I made a smaller one as well. That was a lot of work, but here it is. 20 art styles that have inspired me. I got to draw and study from 20 sources of media that inspire me, and then I got to talk about why those sources of media inspire me. This is a win-win situation for me. In fact, I nominate Mazu Art, Schnoodles, and Future to also do the 20 art styles challenge. Oh wait, I got a little thing here that says you're also nominated. This is very much a talking video, so to those who have stuck around in the end, I hope you were doing something with your time while I served as background noise. I was showing my friends left and right the art styles. If you're interested or still happen to be using Opera GX, you know, my wallpaper is still there. Probably, unless they took it down. In all sincerity, oh my gosh, wow. 400 and like what, 36,000 by the time I'm recording this? Oh my god, thank you. I have no clue where people are coming from. Thank you. And also thank you to everyone who wished me luck with my midterms. I am working very hard on that. I heard a lot of people are doing art fight this month. Good luck on that. I personally didn't join this year. That's just because coincidentally midterms happen in the same month that art fight does, and every year it gets a little bit more proficient. But if you happen to be a part of art fight, there's this like animation art fight attack made by Sunny Voy. Am I pronouncing that correctly? I'll link it in the description. It's super cool. I think you should check it out. Also, I didn't mean to make another 27-minute video. I just did. I like it. I'm gonna make some more short-term videos soon. Okay, bye. Bye. And take care of yourself.